So here's a problem from your Honors Algebra 2 Trig book. Lots of problems. And they're talking about writing particular equation. These are linear equations. Particular equation, then write it in slope-intercept form, and then write it in standard form with integer coefficients. Standard form, remember, is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And particular equation just means write it any way you want it, basically.
Okay.
You can choose anything you want. So here's an example. A point that the line that contains these 2 points. Well, if it contains those 2 points, we can find the slope, right? So we're going to have to find the slope, and the slope is always equal to, we take the y's and subtract them, so 4 minus negative 4, that's the rise, and negative 1 minus negative 5, that's the run.
Okay.
So if we had it on a coordinate axis, it would be negative 1, 4, there'd be one of your points, and the other point would 2, 3, 5. Negative 4 would be somewhere over here, and the rise and the run would be your slope.
Okay.
So there would be your line going through there, right? And here's your rise, which is that right there. It's just 4 minus negative 4. That distance is right there.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And your run would be right here.
Okay.
And that run is negative 1. It's just the distance. All that basically is doing is it's giving you the distance between those 2 points.
Okay.
The distance between sorry, here's the run. The distance between negative 5 and negative 1, the way you find the distance between 2 points, if you remember the distance, the one-dimensional distance is just you subtract them.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. We're saying that this distance right here is negative 1. You can start with either one you want.
Okay.
Minus negative 5. And minus a negative is plus a positive, so that distance is positive 4.
Okay.
Now, if you had done negative 5 minus a negative 1, your answer would have been negative 4, right?
Okay, so you set it up like the right way.
Well, no, you don't have to set it up the right way, because as long as you are consistent with the top and the bottom, it's going to work itself out. As long as you start with the same thing. Make
Okay.
sure that you start with, if you started with the 4 on the top, make sure you start with the negative 1 on the bottom.
Okay.
So if the rise, if you had started, for instance, if this was your first point, then your rise would actually be negative, and your run would be negative, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive.
Yeah.
If you had started here and gone to this one, your rise would have been positive, and so would your run. Positive divided by positive is a positive.
Okay.
So it'll work out either way. So your answer here is going to be 8 over 4, which is 2.
Okay.
So your slope is 2, which makes sense. I'm going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm doing here. So now that I have the slope, the best thing to use is called, the last one that they don't have, notice they're saying slope-intercept form, standard form. The other one is called point-slope form.
Yeah.
Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. There's your slope, and there's your point right there.
Yeah.
So you can pick either one of these points. So let's pick negative 1, 4 as our point. Then let's write the equation y minus 4 equals m, which is 2, follow me, times x minus negative 1. So there would be part A.
Okay.
That's part A. Part B is going to be put in slope-intercept form. That just means clean it up and set it equal to y, like this.
Okay.
So to do that, distribute the 2 in. Let me do that.
Do you need to find the y-intercept to do that?
No,
or
you don't.
You don't? Okay.
No, you don't even need it, because you already have the particular equation. All you really need to do is rearrange it.
Okay.
You could find the y-intercept, but that's not worth the effort.
Okay.
There's a couple other ways to do it, but since you already have this equation, just do it the easiest way, which is 2x plus 2 equals y minus 4. Is it in slope-intercept form yet?
No.
Now get rid of the 4, right?
Yeah.
So slope-intercept form is y equals 2x plus 6.
Okay.
There's b. There's part b.
Mhm.
So did I find that y-intercept?
Yeah.
I did, but I just found it by putting it in that form.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I could have gone and found it on here if I wanted to,
Yeah.
but you don't want to look at it and assume it's right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it would have worked nicely for this because you could have started at -1,4. If you know the slope is 2, if you go up 2
Oh, yeah.
over 1, then you get to it. But it doesn't always work out that nicely.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the easiest way to do it if you ask me. That was part B. And part C says put it in standard form. Well, we're close. We're almost there. All we have to do to put it in standard form, put it in standard form, is move the x over to the other side.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Right? Just subtract 2x from both sides. 2x plus y equals 6. There's part C.
Gotcha.